Welcome to this video explaining how to set up nkUI for the first time. nkUI is an add-on for the game Rift, which is basically a UI suite offering a lot of UI elements default Rift interface doesn't offer, or which simply looks better with nkUI. So when you first start your game with nkUI, it will probably look a lot like what you're seeing now. And we need to hide a lot of the default elements. Unfortunately, the Rift API doesn't allow for the add-ons to to work with the default elements and hide them, so we need to do that manually. Fortunately, Rift has something implemented for that, and you can exit it by hitting Escape and Edit Layout. This is a feature where you can move around UI stuff and you can hide it and scale it, and that's exactly what we need. Now, really important is to know that you only need to do this once. I will show you later how you can import that on other charts. So I'll quickly lead you through which elements we don't need and quickly hide them. So that's the pet portrait. We don't need these four. I'll move them here. We don't need, oh, we need that. We don't need the group portrait 1, 2, 3, and 4. We also don't need player portrait, pet portrait, target portrait. Now, what you see is a lot of frames are linked, and if you move one, the other moves as well. The class mechanic player, as well as the class mechanic target, is something we can't replicate with the API, so I suggest to use it. I'll just move it here. Probably it should be the other way around, target here and player here, whatever. So, and target portrait isn't needed, buff bar isn't needed, quest stickies isn't needed, and let's say, let me move that quickly here, the cast bar isn't needed. So once we've done that, you click on one element, you hit on enable and it gets red. What I also suggest is to scale it down to the lowest, so as you don't need it, it doesn't use a lot of space. So I'll quickly do this with all the frames, which we did. Again, you only need to do that once. So let me quickly go through these. It would be much easier if they had implemented a functionality to hide elements, because obviously the code is there somewhere in the client, because otherwise you couldn't do this. Oh well, it's the way it is. So once we've done that, there are two minor other things. Is I suggest to move the menu bar a bit up and also move the back bar here, then hit save. The back bar is a bit special. Normally you will hide it, but there's one feature I can't replicate through the API's purchasing a new back slot. So once you need to do that, you'll unhide the back bar, do the right click, purchase your slot, and then hide it again. So for the moment, I'll just hide it. Now, there's also a thing with, you can click here, essential, a lot more frames come up. And from these non-essential frames, the most important ones are the rate groups, which we don't need. Oh, I think I forgot the target of target portrait. So that is also something you want to disable. So, and apart from the rate frames, is also here the focus frame is not needed. So let me quickly hide all the rate frames, also the rate pet, which is quite feature, which is interesting that they implemented that you can see all the pets in the rate. Also party frames, so same, and party pets. So now almost good that. Let me quickly do the rate frames, and we are done with the hiding, I think. You might want to hide the alert tray and the social tray. because the lower bar, if you use it, will show you a lot of that. It will not show you if you have if a new mail is there, but you know, you probably know yourself. So we save this, and it already looks a lot cleaner. You might wonder why I didn't hide the action bar. The reason is we quickly need that to set up the nkUI action bars. So let me move that up here. And the reason is we can't do key bindings with the API. So we need the default action bars to do the key bindings. So what you do is you drag and drop the abilities onto the action bar. And by that, you replicate the position. The rest, like cooldowns, like if it's usable, if the target is out of range, nkUI will do that all by itself. You just need to replicate the position on the action bar with the key binding and the nkU interface. And after that, you can simply hide the action bar because we don't need that anymore. The key bindings will still work, which is a nice thing. Okay, so far so good. I told you at the beginning you can import all that. This is done by hitting escape and import, and then you can select a jar and can select what to import. So you really need to do that only once on one tune, and then we can import all this stuff. It's a bit of work at the beginning, but we quickly did that. And by the import feature, it's not as annoying. There are some small settings I'd suggest to change. You can access that through settings and through interface. And one is to activate 3 action bars and 1 sidebar. After activating, or just, you know, hide them. Just don't really need them. Just for the key binding. These are only for the key bindings, you know, so they replicate what you get down here. And also what I suggest to change is the screen message, disable all this. This is the default scrolling combat text of Rift, which doesn't look that good, and nkUI has its own, so I suggest to disable the default one, which you do like this. And finally, last thing I suggest is scale down the back UI. You can do that by accessing display. If I look at it, the default, when I hit the back, the inventory of nkUI will show up. Well, it's a new chart, so not much to see, but you can see that the default back also opens, and we can't hide it. We can't hide the default back, but what we can do is we scale it down to a less annoying size. And I can save all that by hitting apply. Okay, you know, and I can move that a bit back because it will store that position, you know, and it's less annoying. Yeah, that having said, one last thing is you get here on the minimap, if you hover it, an icon will pop up, and that's to access the settings. In here you can access all kinds of features. I explained that in another video. The most important thing I want to show you here is the Move UI. If you hit that, all the frames will be movable. You can move them around wherever you want. You know, have the buff bar somewhere useful, like up there, and then once you're done, you hit reload, and you're good. All right, that's about it, which I wanted to show you, how to set up nkUI for the first time. I'll do some more videos going into detail, all the settings, what you can change. Well, thank you for watching, and if you have any feedback, please leave it, and thank you for using nkUI.